can you tell me the name of your...
This is Jonty.
Yeah. And how old is Jonty?
Jonty's 10 years old.
Yeah. And how long have you been together?
I've owned him for 6 years.
Yeah, okay. Great. Okay. So Helen, he's a bit confused as to why he's here, and he's wondering whether you're going to take him for some food or not, or what's happening. And he's looking for you for, he does like the reassurance. I feel like you've gone soft in your belly, or I don't know that you've gone soft in your belly, but I can feel that he's getting comfort from you, like it's all right, Jonty, you know, it's all right, Jonty. And so he knows, and he says you're a really good friend to him. And he said he had quite a troubled past, he says. Did you say you hadn't had him for 4 years? He's had another home for 4 years?
Yes. He was owned by the stud that bred him until he was 4.
Yeah,
5.
okay.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether somebody had thought about using him as a breeding, because I think he's aware that somebody might have thought about breeding from him, or something like that. Does that make any sense to you?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But he says he's too small, or they thought he was too small, or something like that. I mean, he looks perfect to me, but he himself, his idea of himself, or he heard someone say something about being small. Okay.
Yeah.
Does that make any sense to you?
Yeah. He was quite a small foal, wasn't he, Donna? Yeah,
Very.
and his breeder thought he was quite little, and
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. He said they weren't very nice to him. And again, I've got something about teeth. I feel like somebody's wrestled with him over teeth.
yeah.
It's I want to say wrestled, you know, when they're forced to do something rather than carefully.
He has had quite a lot of dental work done
Ah, right.
in the last year.
Yeah. So, and that makes him really angry. The next day he feels really angry.
Yeah.
And he said all his jaw muscles round here, all that aches afterwards.
Yeah.
But it actually makes him angry and he feels spiteful. I can't really put it in a better word. That's the word that's coming out. And I feel like he might move around the place, and he's trying to get rid of the feeling of all their hands and whatever's around his face.
Yeah.
And
so
it's really hard for him. And so it feels like he would like. Well, I'm saying this, but it feels like he would really benefit from you telling him what's going to happen, or why he's having the dental work.
Yeah.
And you can do that just from speaking from the heart.
Okay.
Yeah. He says he does worry about you when you go away. But I feel like Otto's constantly reminding him that you're his. So that you're Otto's, so that he doesn't feel the need to kind of take care of you in the way that Otto does. So it's like no point. Like he doesn't have that. He knows he's got your respect, but he doesn't have that protective. That's not his role, and it probably would be, I would think, if Otto wasn't around or there wasn't somebody else. But he says he just has it, you know. Otto's always going on to him about his manners. Does that make sense to you? It's like, you know, always it's like, oh, that old chestnut. And it's like, I don't actually care. It's like he's nagged so much that he kind of goes, yeah, whatever. You know, it's like that. He says it's not realistic of Otto to expect him to be able to move out of the way sideways as fast as Otto thinks he should be able to, because he's not an Arab. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because he's not the same sort of horse. He's not built for it. And but he's showing me now on the horse trailer, and I'm standing outside the horse trailer on the ramp, I think, not on it but near it, and I'm going like that with my hoof. Are you teaching him to do something? I know that they might do that if they're being asked to go up a ramp and they don't want to, or whatever.
I have taught him Spanish walk.
Have you taught him any sort of other pawing thing?
Yes, I've taught him to paw at a target, so be it football. We'll go and point at it, and I've demonstrated what I want him to do, and then he's copied me.
he knows you're trying to make him look pretty and everything when you plait. I think you plait his mane, and to those little plaity mane things. And he said, and you get, I think it's you that gets ever so cross if you don't get them in a nice line, and if one blob is slightly over near the bottom. But he says really he doesn't care. He really is an uncomplicated, earthy sort of horse who absolutely doesn't care about lateral posh Arab moves. He doesn't care. He's got an earth nature. I can't really explain. It's like an earthy kind of no nonsense. Let's not complicate things here. Down to earth is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
he says he's not interested in mares at all. I'll be listening to the conversation. He's not interested in mares at all. It's just like nothing. Doesn't feel anything. Nothing. We're not bothered about that. And he sometimes doesn't like all the tack on. I feel like the tack's a lot of tack, and it feels quite heavy. I feel like it's quite heavy somewhere. Is there something you put around his base of his neck?
Oh, I know what that might be.
This part of his neck here.
Like here. He drives as well.
Ah, right.
And he pulls the arena harrow.
Ah, right,
And the breast collar sits on the neck. And the last time we used it, I thought, oh gosh, that looks like it's really digging in there. So my question for Jonty would be, what does he think about me riding him? Is he okay with that? What does he think?
So he gets quite tired. He's saying, and also he feels like you're sitting back too far. Somehow your weight's a bit too far back, and also that this bit of your back isn't perhaps moving as much. But there is a bit that he really loves about the riding, which is that you're always saying you're the best pony.